Thank you, and thank you, Margaritis. Not so much to add on this after your intervention, but let me start from another angle. Last week, the night between Thursday and Friday, 130 men, women, and children experienced a true nightmare that ended in a total tragedy. They left with the help of smugglers in a grey rubber boat heading for the European Union. The weather was terrible. The waves were 6 meters high. They soon came into a terrible distress. And you can imagine the feeling and the fear for the adults, but not at least for children, how they are screaming, how they are fearing for their lives, how they try to reach out to be rescued. But this tragedy ended with 130 lost lives in the Mediterranean. In my view, this is also a European tragedy. Why am I mentioning this? Because we have to do everything to save lives. And that's why we need the new pact on migration and asylum. That's why we need to manage migration in an orderly way. And that's why we need to have a much closer cooperation with third countries. The external dimension of the pact is a really important one. And that also goes for the proposal we have presented today, the first ever European strategy on voluntary returns and reintegration. Most of the third countries that we are cooperating with are both countries of origin that have to take back their citizen when they have a return decision from the European Union, but they're also countries of transit and countries of destination. They're also struggling with migrants that might have been trapped, like in Libya, in a very dangerous situation. Thanks to efforts from the European Commission, together with the African Union and UN, we have helped more than 50,000 people out of Libya on voluntary returns to reintegrate to the country of origins. If we also take into account the numbers that we have helped for voluntary returns from Niger, from Djibouti, that we also made more than 100,000 migrants that we have helped to voluntarily return to the country of origin. And that means that what we do when we work to help migrants and to help countries of origin, transit, and destination to manage migration, it's also a way you have a proper management of the whole migration issue to benefit for migrants, for third countries, and for the European Union. So in our new strategy on voluntary returns and reintegration, working close together with partner countries is a key element, and we can do much more to help voluntary returns from one third country to countries of origin. But we can also do a lot more when it comes to voluntary returns from the European Union. As Margaritis said, today only about 1/3 of those with a return decision are actually being returned to their country of origin. And out of those, only about 1/3 are being returned voluntarily. And we all know that voluntary return is much easier, it's much cheaper, it's much better for anybody involved. And that comes to the pact again, because time is of the essence. If you have a very lengthy period before you can have your final assessment of your asylum application and a return decision, it becomes more and more difficult to do the returns, especially voluntary returns. If you have a swift process, if you have the clear answer on whether you have the right to stay or not, it's much easier to involve together with individuals for voluntary returns and help them and support them for their reintegration in their country of origin. This is what this strategy is about.
Thank you very much.